What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. And okay, now I'm good. I was so fuzzy for a second, but welcome in to the first ever live stream of the newly rebranded Same Old Show as always, the Play Action Podcast. We have myself, we have Matt. If you guys want to check us out on Twitter, the ats are down below. But overall, in this episode, this is going to be a short one compared to normal. But overall, we're going to be previewing Week 3 of the NFL season. We may talk a little bit about Thursday Night Football and talk about how Canada's like the worst OC. He's not even the worst OC in the AFC North, but he's one of the worst OCs in the NFL. But overall, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. Matt, is there any particular game this weekend? Because this is one of the worst slates of games I've seen in a very long time. It feels like they looked at it. Remember, they used to give Monday Night Football the bad games. It's like they gave an entire week of Monday Night Football games. They were like, we got rid of the bad Monday night matchups. Now it's going to be Week 3.
Dude, they're really bad, and it kind of sucks because like week 1 was like, oh, there's gonna be all these revenge games. Like obviously the actual Monday Night Football game for that week was Russ against the Seahawks. We saw a lot of stuff like that where it's like really interesting matchups. Last week I thought was a good slate of games. Got to see a lot of good football. This week, so we wanted to do it because we weren't really sure how we wanted to do these live streams. I think we're gonna have a more foolproof plan of what the show's structure is gonna look like day to day. But we knew we were going to do it live this week, and we are like, okay, don't really know what to talk about. Let's talk about like what to watch for in this week. So we pulled up the slate of games, and we're like, wow, these games aren't very good. Now, there are a couple that are really exciting, but it's just like a lot of them are just like bad teams, like Texans, Bears, or Falcons, Seahawks, like stuff like that. And you're like, oh, God. But there's 3 games that I think are going to be really intriguing. First one is Bills Dolphins. Obviously, the Bills are the most hyped up team in the entire NFL right now, and pretty deservingly so. I mean, they've been playing really well, and they came in as the Super Bowl favorite. Obviously, they go and they get Von Miller. They get some guys come back healthy. They haven't had Trey White yet, which is going to be big when he's back. But Von Miller looks amazing. Josh Allen looks like maybe did he even take another step? That would be something to really be like, holy shit, Josh Allen is ridiculous. But then last week, Raven, Makana, I was going to say the Ravens, your team, they lost to the Dolphins. And I don't want to say that like the Ravens didn't play well. Defensively, they obviously didn't. But I think we got to see a little bit of like, hey, this Dolphins team should be pretty explosive, even with Tua at quarterback. So I think this is a really interesting one just because we're going to see these matchups 2 times a year. At least.
Can I say something about the Dolphins? This has nothing to do with the Ravens-Dolphins game. There was a video that got put out, and they flipped Tua's arm, and he's left-handed to right-handed. That is the stupidest video I've ever seen in my life. The amount of people that I see watching that video, and they're like, wow, this really changes my opinion. They're like, he actually looks like he's throwing the ball. I'm like, what the it looks exactly the same. It's just mirrored. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, it makes no sense. The amount of people that watch that, and they're like, this actually kind of changes my opinion on Tua. It doesn't look like he's underthrowing the ball. I'm like, what do you mean? It looks exactly the same.
They're saying that it changes their opinion.
It changes their opinion on the way that he throws the ball. And they're like, it actually doesn't look like he's underthrowing him very much. And he actually looks like a really clean. And I'm like, it looks exactly the same. Yeah. It's also underthrown.
It's just that it's uncommon to see a lefty quarterback. That's the only difference. Is like there's not a lot of lefties, and we don't see that very often. That's hilarious. But no, I think this is a good one. I think that's a good one. The other 2 games that I like. So I brought up that there's a lot of bad matchups. So I guess you could look at this one and be like, oh, both these teams are 0-2. But Raiders-Titans is super interesting just because I do think the Raiders are going to win. But they're both 0-2, and it's like, okay, you're about to press the panic button. Now, the Titans, it just looks like they're going to kind of be a team that gets totally burned by the A.J. Brown trade, where it's like, oh, yeah, you traded A.J. Brown, and then the Eagles are really good, and now you guys suck. That's how it kind of seems like that's going to go. But definitely, like, they come into the year with playoff expectations with how bad that division typically has been. And then the Raiders extend Carr and go trade for Devontae Adams, and they might start 0-3 in the best division that I've ever seen. So that would be a rough way to start. And then the final game I really like, which honestly, if you would have asked me probably preseason, I wouldn't have said this, but Lions-Vikings. I think that's a really fun one just because, one, they're both 1-1 in a division where I don't know. I'm not like super like, I don't have a ton of faith in the Lions, but the Lions offense should be really good. Goof and the boys. Goof is out there slinging it. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been absolutely ridiculous, and I feel like I always liked him. I've always rooted for him. It's been really cool to see him just kind of take off this season. They don't even have Jameson Williams yet, but their offense is really good. DeAndre Swift. I mean, I feel like me and you were pretty low on DeAndre Swift, but not really like as him as a player, more like him as being in the situation of being a Lions running back because their running backs have been awful for years. And now he's
I would
looked
say him
good.
as the player. I don't like
You didn't like him
DeAndre
as a
Swift.
player?
I still don't like DeAndre Swift.
Bro, he's been nasty. Dude, he's been
He's
really
he's
good.
he's played well. He's had good games, but I do not see him
You don't think he's
as.
super efficient. That's your problem.
I don't think he's very efficient.
And I was going to say that maybe it's because like the offense isn't that good, but I think this year's a good judging year. Because like we're going to see a lot of, okay.
That's fair.
Because their offensive line is substantially better than it was, his rookie year and last year. I don't know. I'm a lot higher on him than I used to be. And I kind of like what the Lions are building. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs or anything like that. I've seen some crazy Lions takes out there, but like I think this is a fun matchup. And I think both of us think that the Vikings are pretty likely to win that division.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the 3 games I really like. But what do you think about those ones?
Yeah, I think you're right. This slate of games is horrible. So I think Lions Vikings is probably up there. I think the game that I want to watch the most, honestly, okay. Outside, I'm not going to talk about the Ravens game. I actually think that's a really good game, just because Belichick versus Lamar Jackson is always going to be really interesting. So it may not be super high scoring and stuff. I think that's a good one. But this slate of games is bad. I think the one that I'm really keying in on is Jets Bengals, because the Bengals have legitimately looked terrible. Joe Burrow, like second half Joe Burrow, different story. First half Joe Burrow every week looks like, I mean, this is like the worst quarterback in the NFL, it seems like. He just goes out there and just throws picks. And you're like, dude.
Okay, we're also 2 weeks into the season.
Yes, yeah, I know.
You just mean if you take the 2 first halves exclusively. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks bad. What do you have? Like 6 interceptions in the first halves.
And it's like, okay. And then they come back and then they end up being close, but they're 0-2. And they're facing off against the Jets. And the Jets are weird, okay? The Jets are much better with Joe Flacco than they are with Zach Wilson, because Joe Flacco is a better quarterback than Zach Wilson. But they have good weapons, and they have decent players on the defensive side of the ball. And I really want to see, this is the test. This is where we find out Sauce Gardner. How good is the Sauce? Because no matter where you're putting Sauce in this game, he's on someone good. So I want to see him against Jamar Chase. I think this is a game. Jets, don't try and win this game. All right, you need to figure. I mean, obviously you're trying to win, but you don't go out there and throw Reed on Jamar Chase. You know what Reed's going to give you. You need to test your rookie cornerback, because there have been times where rookie cornerbacks have come in and they've been that dude. Most recently, Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore's rookie season was the best rookie season I think I've ever seen out of a cornerback. He went out there and was just like, oh, yes, I'm going to lock up Julio Jones and Mike Evans 4 times in 1 year. And Mike Evans, we saw it this last weekend. Mike Evans still hates that man. Like, pure hatred towards him. Like, it's horrible. But we can see, like, hey, can Sauce Gardner go out there and go up against one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, maybe the toughest to guard, maybe the most physical wide receiver that he's going to face all season? Can Sauce go out there and do it? Because he's drafted to be a one-on-one lockdown cornerback, and this is a very good test for him. So I want to watch it for that reason. And also, Joe Flacco has been playing the Bengals. That is probably the team he's played the most in his entire career. I mean, he's played them twice a year. Every year he was in the AFC North. And there have been some great games between them, but it's very different. He's used to playing very well against the Bengals. It's different from the Steelers. And they just got a big win last week against another AFC North team in the Cleveland Browns. They're going to have some momentum. Flacco's been slinging it. Flacco's thrown over 300 yards in each of his games, which is kind of ridiculous, but I think it's going to be interesting. Now, it could be a Bengals blowout, But it could be a close game that the Bengals maybe win by, 10 points or whatever. But it's like, hey, it was kind of close. It was kind of entertaining. That is the level of quality games that we're going to have this week. There's definitely going to be close games, but in the previews, it's like, okay, most of these games are not going to be entertaining at all.
No, yeah, no, but that's a good point. That's a fun matchup to watch. Now, I'm gonna put this out there. I don't really think this is gonna be too telling about Sauce Gardner. I know you're looking at like, oh, we got to see like how if you're lined up against Jamar Chase. Look, truth is, you're probably about to get cooked.
But what if he doesn't? If he goes out there and doesn't get cooked, like they throw that 20-yard line, they throw that fade to Jamar Chase, and he goes up there and he gets a pick.
I mean, it's really just about like being able to be okay, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, okay, last year for the Niners, I think it was Ambry Thomas's first or second game, and bro, he was lined up against Jamar Chase, and it was like, and I think Chase scored once or twice. Like Chase had a good game, not like ridiculous, but he had a good game. But then Ambry Thomas was super clutch for them down like during their playoff run, So it was like I wouldn't like put much stock into people like, oh, like Ambry's out here getting cooked. It's like, yeah,
but Ambry wasn't drafted to be.
No. But I just mean like
I don't. If Jamar Chase goes out there and gets 200 yards, I'm not saying Sauce is done.
Yeah.
But
no, I know
it's
you're not
interesting
saying that
because he had you look at his stats. It's like this guy didn't allow a touchdown in college. I don't even think he allowed a touchdown in high school. I don't think he's allowed a touchdown in the NFL.
He's about to.
No, how long can he keep this streak going?
Hey, I told you that I don't think there's that many good games, so I'll keep my eyes peeled on this one. I'll watch the Sauce Jamar Chase matchup.
We know dude, first quarter Burrow, Sauce pick 6, Sauce another pick. he's gonna be slinging it.
That would be sick. That would be sick if we saw a Sauce pick 6 early in the game. But no, that's a pretty good game. I like that one too. I think that one's similar in terms of like, not for the Jets, but for like the Bengals of like, are we about to be in panic mode like that Raiders Titans game? Because like if you go 0-3, you're probably screwed. Like you're probably done. I mean, you've seen the numbers of if you go 0-2, right? It's like
no team in the last 2 years has made the playoffs.
Yeah, like it's really hard. And we've already talked about the Bengals. I mean, we talked about the Raiders. You were a little bit higher on the Raiders than I was, and then you talked me into it because I was like, damn, they actually got some good stuff. And it's not like they haven't been competitive, but they've lost 2 games to start the season, So it's always. I mean, they shouldn't have lost to the Cardinals, that's for sure. But
yeah,
like the Raiders should win, and they should be the Titans. I'm not super sold on the Titans. The funny thing is, honestly, bro, the Titans being 0-3, that might not even be that crazy in the South, in the AFC South. Like they might go, bro. They could like start the season.
They could be in second place in the AFC South next week.
At
0-3.
Yeah, no, I don't.
There could still be 0 wins or 1 win because the Jaguars have a win, right?
No, but the Colts tied with the
Texans. But there's no wins.
Oh, you mean if they win? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. Also, I really do like the Niners game, Niners Broncos, but that's Sunday night. Like that's the highlight game. Monday night Giants Cowboys, bro. Come on with this.
Dude, why is that a game every year? Why? Okay, all of the Cowboys primetime games are always in their division.
Bad games.
And it's like, dude, why don't we get the good Cowboys games? And instead, we have to listen. Well, actually, okay, no, this is a good thing because Troy Aikman and what's his face, Joe Buck, they're the ones that actually do the games on Monday Night Football now. Dude, stop letting them. It should be banned for them to call Cowboys game. Give me Rex Ryan. Give me what's his name, Sergio Dupe, bro. Put him on the sideline. I swear to listen to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman wank off the Dallas Cowboys every single time they watch them, and it's like they'll be doing bad, and they'll be like, well, we're gonna have to sit there and be like, Troy Aikman's like, man, the way that I see Cooper Rush throw the ball, honestly, they may be better off without Dak Prescott. He's slinging the ball to CeeDee Lamb.
I'll be honest. I really hope I hear that. I'll be on the ground dying laughing if I hear them say that. I'm not surprised. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of that crew, but
and we're gonna hear. We're gonna see. Mr. Diggs get cooked at least one point. They're gonna allow a big touchdown, and we're gonna hear Joe Buck on the call, and he's gonna be like, Daniel Jones steps back, throws up, and a wide open Sterling Shepard. And then you hear Troy Aikman. He's like, we're seeing it, and Trayvon Diggs just goes the wrong way. I don't really know exactly what he's doing there, but that's not really how you play the game of football on the defensive side. And they're like so disappointed every time someone scores in the Cowboys. It's like, dude, don't get two Cowboys fans calling the game. Like Tony Romo calling the Cowboys is fine because he's not with a Cowboys fan. But when both guys are clearly rooting for the Cowboys.
True. No, you started saying it right now, and dude, it's accurate what you're saying. Like that sounds like they're
and then you'll get Cooper Rush steps back, hits CeeDee Lamb, he breaks a tackle over the middle of the field. He's down the sideline. And Troy Aikman's like, this is what I'm talking about from Cooper Rush. This is the type of quarterback play. CeeDee Lamb, one of the best young wide receivers in the NFL. I wish I got to play with an idiot like him. Overall, like he's one of the best players I've ever seen in Cowboys history. Like that's the type of stuff they're saying. Like they just hype them up so much. And I like the Cowboys, but I cannot stand watching them with them on the call.
Okay, I got a couple more games for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking. I'm like, you know what? Afternoon slate. These actually are pretty good.
It's the games where both the teams suck. Those are all the good games, like Falcons, Seahawks.
No, that game's not going to be. I mean, we could just watch
Drake London be close.
Hard. I hope Drake London balls out. But, like, I don't know. I like Jags, Chargers, and Rams, Cardinals. Because Rams, Cardinals would be a fun one. Okay, let me. Rams, Cardinals will be fun if the Cardinals win. How about that? Is that one? Is that good?
True.
Like,
yeah.
Because the Cardinals had a crazy win last week. They didn't really have any business being in that game, but Kyler Murray went insane.
Kyler does play well against the Rams.
Yeah, definitely. Well, not in the playoffs.
Well, that's true.
Actually, also it's late season Cliff, so I guess we have to call that a wash.
And late season Kyler.
So, well, he was also hurt. Yeah, no. I was thinking about this though. So if you're the Cardinals, like, and keep in mind, I'm only watching so many Cardinals games. Like, I'm not super locked in, but I would love to hear like a guy that's like super locked on the Cardinals, watching every single snap of the season. Are they actually better when Cliff is not doing anything? Like when it's late game and Kyler's like, all right, bro, I'm done with this. I'm just going to make it happen. Cliff, stop calling plays. Like, I'm just going to go out there. We're going to basically play Madden on the field, right? Because when they do that, they're very exciting to watch, of course, because Kyler's just like running around in circles with like 25-second plays. But they're like actually like, they're actually moving the football. They're actually scoring. The whole thing in the preseason. Dude, but how many games have you seen for the Cardinals where there's no offense, and then in the fourth quarter, in the last, third and fourth, like in the second half, maybe like the last 10 minutes of the game, it's like, yeah, Kyler Murray scored on 4 consecutive drives where he's literally just dropping back and making insane plays. And it's like, it's not even receivers running like their routes outside of like, quick hitters like slants and like basic route concepts, but where it's like he's going around, it's like second effort routes where like, they redirect and then turn, and then like they have a guy like, I forgot who it was in the end zone. Like they had all the holding calls in the end zone last week. Like it feels like they are better on offense when Cliff is not a part of it. Is there like, I don't know if there's anyone like that where you're looking at going, yeah, it's better when they don't scheme stuff.
Matt Canada. But think about the Pittsburgh Steelers. When were they good? When Big Ben said, "Shut up! I'm going to run no huddle, and I'm going to move the ball down the field." Every time over the last couple of years, Big Ben Roethlisberger would just get the ball and be like, "I'm done listening to you." They would be down 14-0, and then it's like, "Wow, they scored both times before the half because they went no huddle and they didn't allow their offensive coordinator to call plays."
Well, I was going to say, I was just thinking about last night because it's fresh in my mind. I liked what they were doing early on in the game, though. Like I liked the things that they were doing with Najee, with Jaylen Warren, like. I like that side of it where, like, if I'm watching the Cardinals, most of the time it looks like awful at first. It looks like 3 and out. It's, what is this, bro? Like, this is a terrible offense. Like, what are you doing, Cliff? But I know that's like I know people don't like Cliff.
But in the preseason, so Matt, I don't know if you heard about this in the preseason. Kyler was calling plays for the Cardinals.
No, yeah.
Because Cliff was saying, "Oh, I'm trying to show you how hard it is in the NFL."
Yeah, and dude, I also would not. Dude, that's got to be like the biggest. Like,
and it's
in terms of personalities, it's got to be one of the most hilarious coach quarterback combo. Kyler Murray, the dude who sucks during double XP weekends, and Cliff, bro. Cliff, the guy with like a 1-52 record in December. Like, come on, man. It's hilarious. But I do think that's a fun game, and I'll say I wouldn't. Do you know what the line is for that game? Any chance you have it up? I'm guessing it's like
Rams
minus
minus
5.
3.5.
Okay, yeah, because I think that's one where the Cardinals could also just get blown out, bro. That's why it's not the best slate. Because if that's like not that good of a game, it's like kind of, oh yeah, we'll watch the end of it to see Kyler do his thing. Like it'd be fun.
What's funny is even in preseason, I don't know how many. The only game where it's like maybe could be good is like Packers Buccaneers. But even that game, it's like, dude, that's not.
You're not even playing the real Buccaneers team for one,
And the
and the Packers are
Packers
not
kind of
exciting to
suck.
watch.
Like they may score some points, but it's like,
That's only
dude, this is
exciting because it's
horrible to
Brady
watch.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
What about Jags Chargers? Sleeper upset? I hope so. That'd be
I
sick.
do think. I think so.
Yeah?
Super upset. Christian Kirk, big plays. T-Law. Dude, people got mad at us when we were like, T-Law's a generational talent. And they're like, you idiot. I came here to watch a laugh. I was like, what? Here's something to talk about.
Yeah.
Derrick
I
Henry
think
hasn't looked the same.
it's
Problem is
okay.
they have nobody else on that team, and so everybody just stacks the box completely.
No, okay, so I think it's a couple things. No, I think his point is fair, like, because he came back late in the year, and that
Yeah.
wasn't when that was the case, and he didn't look the same then. I definitely think that's the case,
Yeah.
but I think it's too small of a sample size to tell this season, and I don't think we should look at the foot injury and be like, oh, like Henry lost something, because it was a very minor injury. It wasn't a very serious thing. Like he basically broke his like outside.
It's the
toe,
connecting bone between your pinky toe and your foot.
Yeah, it was just they didn't want him to put pressure and cause like further injury on it, and then he even came back quicker. So I think last year I think that he didn't look quite the same, but this season I think it's literally just a product of how bad that team is. Like think about their offense. Their wide receiver one is Robert Woods. I don't think Robert Woods is bad, but for what they're trying to do, it doesn't make sense. And then they're trying to just plug and play Treylon Burks into the AJ Brown role, which I don't want to like. I don't think Treylon Burks was like a bad pick or anything, but Treylon Burks was never expected to come in and have like a ton of production immediately. He's more of like a project wide receiver in a way, even though that's not really a thing anymore because like every wide receiver comes in and is just a monster as a rookie, right? But their offense isn't going to work. Also the O-line is in shambles, and now Taylor Lewan's out again. He's out this weekend. So
how many times against the Bills did you see them run a pitch play, and then three guys would miss their block on the pitch play? It's like Derrick Henry loses 4 yards, and you're like, dude, like I have Derrick Henry in fantasy, and I'm like, guys, stop running this pitch play because it's so bad. Because none of your, the Bills have a good defensive line, but they weren't even shedding. It was like they're not even getting to the spot. Derrick Henry's getting hit. And it's like, oh, he lost 1 yard. It's like, dude, he had 3 guys in the backfield, and he was able to get back to only losing 1 yard. And week 1, I watched a lot of the Titans game week 1. Dude, Derrick Henry looked really good. Every time he had a run that was good, holding. And it was like, so he finished the game, and it was like, oh, his stats look horrible. And it's like every time he had any run, and he was breaking tackles, he's busting up the field, it's like holding, coming back.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. But I definitely get like, I don't know. I definitely get the take, and also this comment right here, trading Treylon Burks for AJ Brown, is just dumb. It's gonna go down as like the stupidest trade in a while. It's blatantly because they didn't want to pay AJ Brown, and then the problem is that all happens, right? And even AJ Brown came out and said it. He said, "Look at the other guys. They paid Debo and they paid DK. I was the only guy that didn't get paid, and it's super fair." And you can easily make the argument that he's the best out of those groups. I mean, I love Debo Samuel. Debo's one of my favorite players. But Debo's not a conventional wide receiver. You know what I mean? Like, he's not helping the run game because you're running RPOs. Like, the Eagles are doing a lot of the same stuff that the Titans were doing with A.J. Brown, and it's working almost to the same degree. Look at Miles Sanders' numbers right now. Miles Sanders has been going off. You know why? Because A.J. Brown is running deep slants, and the linebackers are going, oh, we got to step back right here. If we don't step back, he's about to take one, run over our safety, and go 80 yards to the house. That's what happened week 1. He had an insane game.
Which is exactly what we said would happen with that Eagles team. We were like, dude, the RPO is going to be so filthy.
I had told you, dude, the Eagles are so good. Like, and I don't know. I think a lot of people, I tweeted out that I think the Eagles, I think it's like, if I said like, oh, this might be like a hot take, but I think the Eagles are going to be the 1 seed in the NFC. Dude, I'm going to stand by that take. I think that's actually what's going to go down. I don't think they're going to be, in the Super Bowl. I think they're going to get beat by some of these higher end teams, but their schedule is absolute cake, and they're better than almost every single team that they play, which is pretty crazy. Huge difference from last year's Eagles team to this year's Eagles team, and the AJ Brown trade is almost on the forefront of that.
I just can't imagine. They do things like extend Tannehill, and then the reason why Tannehill is good, they get rid of them. And they're like, why isn't he good anymore? Like, what do you mean why isn't he good anymore? He is a fine quarterback if you allow him to throw easy slants over the middle of the field. He's not a good quarterback when he has to go out there and with a horrible offensive line and just yeet it. It's not like he could yeet it up and, oh, wow, look, A.J. Brown, 35 yards down the field, mossed some guy and then took it to the house. It's, oh, no, I had to throw it away because Traylon Burks wasn't open and there's no way in hell I'm throwing a jump ball to Robert Woods now. Like, that's what he's at. And they also, why do they not throw to Derrick Henry anymore? And I get, like, don't throw him on routes. Don't throw him on routes or whatever. Put him in passing situations. 3rd and 10, have Derrick Henry in there. Check down. At the line of scrimmage, hit him. It's the same thing as a screen pass. That's the last resort. Hit him. Dude, Derrick Henry with the open space running 10 yards, that's much more likely than, all of their backups and stuff like that. You don't have to throw them on routes. Dude, just be like, hey, stand right here. If I need help, I will give you the football. And if he drops it, whatever. You weren't going to get the first down anyway because it was the check down.
I like the Derrick Henry. They called one last week, I want to say, or even maybe a couple. I saw at least one. It got snuffed out, I believe. But, like, it's really just that their offense.
They called like 8 screen passes in the first half last week. It was horrible.
No,
that's all they ran.
They have a vanilla offense that you know what they're going to do, and they don't have good enough personnel to really excel in it. That's the problem. I don't think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be a bad team. They were the 1 seed last year. That's crazy. Oh my God. I was just thinking about this, dude. Imagine if they go from the 1 seed to a non-playoff team. And I know the Eagles made the playoffs, but they weren't really. Come on. Last year, the Eagles weren't really a playoff team. Like, everyone knew they were about to get cooked in the first round. But if the Eagles then were a 1 seed the next year, bro, AJ Brown's leaving that like, yeah, you know how it is. Like, I'm the dude. I'm that dude. Like, I took one team to a 1 seed, and I took the next team to a 1 seed. That'd be pretty baller. I like AJ Brown a lot. I think he's a stud. And I wasn't like super high on him before. Also, I don't know how long his career is going to be. He is incredibly like not honestly like injury prone, but like he has bad knees, bro. His knees are already so jacked up, and he's not very old. But when he's on the field, he's ridiculous. Yeah, imagine if the Titans tanked and got Bryce Young, they'd be a lot better. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is their last year with Tannehill, which
it better be.
So many people talk about, this is such a bad contract. This is such a bad contract. The Ryan Tannehill contract is one of the stupidest contracts in the NFL. I know that they made the playoffs and stuff. Okay. And then they lost. Why? Because Ryan Tannehill was terrible.
Like, Ryan Tannehill was there to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry and hit play action passes to one player.
You could have got better guys.
You could have easily gotten better guys.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add? I think we're going to take off in a second. I do want to say, everyone that's in the stream right now or listening back, we're going to be going live after every Monday and Thursday Night Football. We're also going to have other videos and stuff, but just not exactly sure what the schedule is. But we'll let you guys know on Monday. But we will be going live after Monday Night Football. But anything else you're looking forward to this week?
Yeah, if the Colts decide to hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor, maybe they can actually score some points. I don't know.
They're about to get cooked.
Oh, yeah. But if they hand it off to JT, at least they may score some points. They won't get shut out.
I mean, the Chiefs' run defense has not been really good for like the past many years. That's kind of been the recipe to beat them.
You run the ball.
That would be a sick upset but also like
the problem is they have Matt Ryan at quarterback. I think Pittman may be able to come back. I know their wide receiver that had the concussion is back. I'm blanking on his name. Out of Cincinnati. Pierce. Alec Pierce. Yeah.
Yeah, no, last week they had like no one. But Leonard's out again. Not ideal.
They're going to allow 58 points.
Like I said, if they go 0-3, they can still make the playoffs. But yeah, all right, guys. I think that's probably gonna do it. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be going live after every Monday and Thursday. But yeah, we'll talk to you then, and we'll have a lot of videos, a lot of content, all NFL related, a lot of draft, a lot of some college stuff, but tons of football content coming your guys' way. So thank you guys for hopping on, and we'll all talk to you very, very soon.